I'm gonna crack my knuckle. Okay, here you go. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Ross, and I'm the president of South Carolina Hands and Voices. And we do Topic Tuesday every third Tuesday of the month. And we have professionals who serve the deaf and hard of hearing community as presenters, as well as families on their journeys. Today we have some guests and we have some video recordings for our topic, summer camps. So I thought I would bring my daughter, Alyssa Ross, along as she has attended several camps. Do you want to say hello?
Yes. Hi, my name is Alyssa. As my mom said, I go to Irma High School in the ninth grade. My favorite subjects are math, orchestra, and lunch. And yes, I love summer camp. It just makes me get ready to pass through school to get to the summers and have a great time.
Awesome. And we also have a speaker with us, and we always like to say thank you to our interpreters for making this possible and accessible today. Okay, so it's camp time. Not yet. The summer is just a couple of months away, but as many of you know or possibly know, camp applications start early. And so summer camps are usually June and July. And then applications come out early, sometimes late fall, but definitely by January or February. So we just wanted to give a summer camp overview of some of the ones we have, some general preparations to consider, some specific deaf and hard of hearing camp benefits when you explore options for camp and even consider going to camp. We'll highlight some deaf and hard of hearing in and out state camps, as well as those that may be just day programs and those that will be residential options. And then camps can range from free, paid, and then have scholarship options. And so this is not an exhaustive list. This is just to spotlight some in South Carolina and give you some resources for out of state options and get your juices flowing for you to consider camp. So just some camp preparations. Be prepared. Please know that if it's a day camp or residential especially, you will get a camper's list of what to bring. If it's a day program, you'll get an overview of the activities, and often they will have an intro day for parents to explore the camp and get more information. Some camps also offer a culminating program for parents to be able to participate in. If you have any fears, we can go ahead and face those. You know your child best, they're your expert, but it is nice to go out and get with their peers and overcome some of the shyness. And we do have fears. I remember my daughter started camp at 7 for her first residential camp. And yes, I cried, but when she got back to me, she was a changed person. And then the camps have options for you to communicate with your child. Of course, if it was an emergency, some people will do um, postcards to send out and communicate. But you'll know when it's time, and your kiddos will do well at the camp because the counselors know how to handle any kids with any concerns. Have you faced your fears with some camps?
Yes, there's a Camp Sertoma, and we'll go outside during the nights. And then in my backyard, it's all these trees in the dark, and I just can't. I get scared. But when we got out there, Lord have mercy, I went through that night. I was ready to go.
So stay positive. It's going to be new experiences, but it's all about mindset and what you go into. And definitely leading up to the camp, you could talk about camps. You could mingle with us. There are several families who have gone to camp. So if you know somebody, reach out to them and get their experiences. And then camp is about teamwork because the kiddos would do a lot of project based stuff. Sometimes maybe your kiddo is the only child, and so they'll have the experience of working in groups, being with other students their age, even rooming with other kiddos, and that will be a new experience. So, again, it's all about facing your fears, being positive, and being open minded when working with others. Some other
Yeah, issue.
Some other considerations are, again, you'll get information about the camps and the camp packets and some of the activities, but some will give you opportunities to explore nature. As Alyssa mentioned, with one of the camps that does actual outdoor camping. Again, embrace any challenges, and we'll talk about the specifics of deaf and hard of hearing, but we all know we consider our children if they have accessibility accommodations and making sure the camps are informed with how best to serve your child and make sure they're safe. Again, be kind. I always tell my kiddos, treat people the way you want to be treated. And so open mind, because our camps are very diverse and it's great to get to know people that of all walks of life in the world. And so we just want to be sensitive to everybody and their journey and be kind. And again, believe in yourself. Your kiddos can do it and they will overcome a hurdle and just have that additional opportunity to believe in themselves that they could do it. Sometimes they can't visualize it, but we need to give them the opportunity to embrace new things. Do you feel like you did that with camp?
Yes.
She loves camp. She's an expert now. And again, stay safe. There'll be safety rules. There are conditions with camp if they do lake play or they're doing pool play, but they have counselors and many of them carry nurses on staff to keep your kiddos safe. Any medical needs that they have, allergies, they get all of that information. Alyssa actually has a peanut allergy and we've always been fine, but she carries her medicine and the camps are, especially the residential camps, are aware of that. And the day programs get an overview and all of the emergency information. So you will be a phone call away and have those supports in place for your kiddos to be safe. Just some things to consider with deaf and hard of hearing camps. It's a unique educational opportunity. It's structured for our deaf and hard of hearing kiddos, giving them experiences. Often our camps have more accessibility than maybe they would see in mainstream classrooms. And it's also huge for socialization with our kiddos being around their peers. I know, for example, with Alyssa being deaf, she is one of maybe two or three kiddos in her school.
Three.
Three kiddos in our school. So do you enjoy going to camps and seeing more students like you?
Yes, ma'am. Just brings joy to my heart.
And so it does give them confidence and reduces isolation. I remember one kiddo expressed how she felt camp. She loved it because the other kids, when she said, "Can you repeat that?" they didn't say never mind. They understood about giving her the full access to the accommodations and being able to communicate the way she needed. And it wasn't a whole bunch of explanation that she had to do because she was with her peers. And so it does have a positive impact on your kids and their self-esteem. Do you feel like you developed some with being around your peers in camp?
Yes, and like ASL and communicating with people and all that. And so, yes, I agree with that girl who said that she like being with her peers and that they understand about how they don't like people saying never mind and that they could just go ahead and repeat it even if it's 100 times. I still love being around my peers and feeling myself.
Awesome. So these are just some considerations that are nice when you get into specialty camps. Now, Alyssa has attended other camps that are not specific to deaf and hard of hearing, but as a parent, I was comfortable, especially with residential, trying deaf and hard of hearing camps first because they already had exposure and knew how to deal with her accommodations with her hearing aids, or if it was her cochlear implants, especially during water play. They often have audiologists on call and again, nurses to check everything. They have those added specialty care areas for our deaf and hard of hearing kiddos, whether they're oral or manual. So just to spotlight some of the in-state camps, these are for the younger kiddos, which is nice. And they are specific to certain areas, but MUSC does an annual summer camp. And so camp communications information is there, and they will be doing one July 14th through the 18th. This is a free camp. and it's for the kiddos that are 4 to 12 years old at MUSC. And then Koala Camp is for the littles. They do 18 months to 3 years old, and they're in the Columbia area, Alfred, out of Columbia College. So again, free, and it's a small enrollment because of the age of the kiddos. But again, these are just some samples of camps that we have. Now I'd like to spotlight one of Alyssa's favorite camps, and it's a residential camp, Camp Wonder Hands. And this is the first camp that she attended when she was 7 years old. And she's had wonderful experiences. And she just saw the flyer and she was excited about Harry Potter, because who doesn't love Harry Potter? But I'm excited that we have Camille Belton with us, and she's a Camp Wonder Hands representative. And I am going to turn it over to her to give us some information about the upcoming camp. So I will stop sharing so we can spotlight our guest.
Okay, all right. You got the spotlight set? We're good. Okay, great. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we had it all good. All right. So my name is Camille Belton, and my son name is Camille. And I am one of the Camp Wonder Hands, CWH is what we say. I'm one of the Camp Wonder Hands representatives this year. And there's 3 of us who are running the camp this year as directors. And our camp is going through some changes. We've been here for many years, and we're so excited about these opportunities. Alyssa and Jocelyn, thanks so much for inviting us being here to talk about Camp Wonder Hands. Of course, it is free. Camp Wonder Hands is free. We also work with deaf and hard of hearing children of all communication styles, language uses, oral, manual, age 7 to 17. And so we do have sort of a teen program, if you will, and that program is kind of incorporated at the general camp as well. It is a residential overnight camp, and the last couple of years, it's been a Monday through Friday morning. So campers arrive on Monday and leave on Friday. And this year it is June 16th through 20th. They'll arrive on that Monday. We'll do registration, get everybody in, set them up in their cabins. And every year we have a different theme. And so it's the same for the boys and the girls in their separate cabins and stuff. We have some who are sign fluent and use just American Sign Language. We'll have 6 to 7 volunteer interpreters that'll be there over the summer, and they're there 24/7. So they're available for any needs that there are for the campers. We've got nurses that'll be there. We have the head nurse and then 2 others. So we end up with 3 nurses. The camp partners with Camp Cole. That's the sign, Camp Cole. And so they work with a variety of organizations as well that host different camps there at their camp facility. And so it's just a wonderful place. It's very accessible. The camp facilities are. And so the camp itself was designed for kids who have different disabilities and low income and just a variety of needs. So it meets that. So we partner with them and they're helping to sponsor camp this year. So we're really grateful to Camp Cole for that partnership to keep Camp Wonder Hands going. I'm trying to think what else to mention in terms of what's unique about our camp. Oh, and so the location is in Eastover, South Carolina, Eastover. And so that's about 30 minutes from the downtown Columbia area. An hour and a half. Hopefully it's right there, sort of in the middle, whether you're coming from Charleston or Spartanburg or whatever. It's kind of in a central location there, just outside of Columbia. So for many years, we've been sponsored by the Children's Hospital, Prisma Children's Hospital. So grateful to them for all the contributions they've been able to provide us over the years. And so we're able to offer scholarships for kids through all of these opportunities that we have. And so again, it's free. It's absolutely free to parents. And so we'll take care of any medical needs that are there. any issues that come up, we take care of them. And of course, we'll reach out to the parents and families if we need them. And we've got a team approach there that's just they're ready to help provide them whatever the kids might need while they're there. And so some of our former campers have come back as well. Oh, wait, let me back up a little bit and mention I'm a former camper of Camp Wonder Hands myself. So we've got a variety of roles from campers to the teens. We have what's called a CLT, and that's a counselor leadership trainee. And so they're ones who've usually been involved as campers, but they're not quite old enough to apply to be a counselor. So they're in that middle age range. And so we're training them, if you will. It's that concept of a training program. And so I was one of the first few CLTs back in the day. And so the director of the program set up the CLT stuff. And so we could train those former campers to become counselors. So we could have the generations that formerly attended become those who were leading the camp itself. Last year, Steve Emerson and Andrea Martinez Johnson were the two assistant directors along with myself. This year, we're all working together. And so this year we all got promoted to the role unexpectedly, but we're excited for the opportunity. And as you saw, the theme is Harry Potter. We're very excited to do this and we're making all kinds of plans. We just love seeing our kids every year that come. And Alyssa has come every year. We've seen her picking up new signs and making new friends and just smiling and be happy and joyful about being at camp. And oh, the end of camp is always such an emotional thing, and it's beautiful to see though, and just seeing the relationships that develop, the language growth, and just that time together is so amazing. And there's even some staff that are there that aren't fully signing capable, and then they pick up signs while they're there. It's just beneficial for, I think, everybody who comes, and we just welcome everybody to apply. If you've got somebody who's wanting to support us as well, that's great. Again, our camp is free for the children. And then our staff most of us are all volunteers as well. The camp has been here almost 25 years. We've been going. And so that's kind of where we're at. And it started, and I guess I should mention our story of how we got started too. And so there was a mother who had a deaf son, and she sought out camps for him, and there weren't many options. So she started small, and it was at her home just with her son and 2 or 3 other deaf, hard of hearing boys that they knew. And they had it there at her home. And then it started a tradition for them. And then it just exploded and grew from there. And so that's how we got to where we are now. So
That is amazing. I just closed my screen so we could spotlight you larger on the recording. But thank you for that. And especially the background of the mom and how it all started. I mean, this was how South Carolina Hands and Voices started. You know, as a parent, not having prior experience with hearing loss, you want to be around others on a similar journey. And we like the Hands and Voices model about whether oral or manual, it's getting our families together on similar journeys. So it's awesome to hear about that story. And I do want to put in a plug, as Camille mentioned, the program is free, but a lot of these programs are free because of the donors and contributions that they get from people in the deaf and hard of hearing community, outside people, all who support our program. So I will put in the plug that if you're able to and you do donations, to consider doing so to some of our camps that your kids frequent. Again, they offer them free, but they do rely on donations too for their programs. So those are good charities that support our deaf and hard of hearing community that we can consider with camp opportunities. So we appreciate Camille providing that information, and I just wanted to put that plug into support for them. So I'm going to share my screen again. And so we appreciate that information on Camp Wonder Hands. Did you want to say anything else about the camp, Alyssa?
Well, the years that I've been going for like the first 3, 5, I don't know. For the first couple years that I've been going to Camp One Hands, it was like a different experience, different campus. But now we moved to a better campus like Camp Cole, and I just feel like things have been improving. I just like want to keep coming back, and now I want to be a counselor in training when I like age out for a little bit and just keep my experience at Camp One Hands going.
So usually your kiddo, once they're experienced with camp, they don't want to stop going. Um, let's see what else we have. The next one is Camp Sertoma. Again, this is a free camp as well. There are multiple Sertoma clubs across the state as well, and they fundraise to send campers to Camp Sertoma that is actually upstate on the Clemson Outdoor Lab. And so with Camp Wonder Hands, you get your kiddos to camp, but Camp Sertoma is a free camp, but they do provide transportation. And it's over 6 weeks because each camp have their respective weeks that they go, and they usually arrange for transportation if it's a Boys and Girls Scout bus or what have you. So I want to share this video recording of Karen Rood, who will talk about the Sertoma Club.
Jocelyn.
You can't hear?
I did not hear her talking. No, ma'am.
Okay.
When you share, did you click the button to share audio as well? Because sometimes you overlook that button to. You might need to stop sharing and start sharing again to make sure you have the audio share clicked.
Let me check.
My name is Karen Rood. I am the camp representative for Richland Sertoma Club, but I'm also a member of the board of Camp Sertoma. Those are the Sertomans trustees who, they don't run the camp, but they work with Clemson University Outdoor Lab to make the camp a success. And a lot of the improvements at the camp have actually been provided and built by Sertoma clubs from all over the state. The camp, as I said, is run by Clemson University Outdoor Laboratory, and the counselors are employees of Clemson University, which is important because they are held under the same scrutiny as anybody else who's hired by the university. You know, they're very picky about the people they hire to be counselors, and it's you can tell when you meet the counselors. The camp is especially designed for deaf and hard of hearing children ages 7 to 12, and we actually have a lot of counselors who know some sign. That is not the same thing as saying that they are accredited signing. They wouldn't be an ASL signing person, the kind of person who stands next to the speaker and interprets. But they do know a good bit of sign. And it was interesting that one of the counselors told me that if they know they are getting children who just use ASL, before the week those children arrive, all the counselors do a little review of basic signs. So even the counselors who really won't be signing for the camper will know if the camper comes up to them and says, I, need to go to the bathroom or I'm hungry or whatever, I don't feel well, they will know that what the child is saying. And I think that's important. The counselor, I sent a little girl last year who signed, and her counselor was actually a very good signer. And then the assistant counselor also could sign. And she had a wonderful time at the camp. all the other children were great to her, and she came back and her teacher said that not only did she talk about how much fun she had at camp, but she also had learned a whole bunch of new vocabulary. So the teacher was so impressed that this year I'm sending 3 children who sign. I was hoping for a 4th actually, but next year maybe. So every year the camp has 6 sessions. The first session is usually starts on Father's Day. This year that's June 15th. It's a Sunday. And the sessions run Sunday through Saturday. The first session, as I said, is mid-June, and then the last session is usually toward the end of July. This year it's July 20th to 26th. And this year, the last couple of years, each session has been 32 campers. We have 5 cabins, but there's been a nationwide, ever since COVID, and I don't know, there is a connection, although I'm not quite sure what that connection is. Ever since then, we've had trouble finding enough campers to staff 5 cabins. So we end up with 4 cabins, 8 kids in each cabin. So we end up with 16 girls and 16 boys in each session. So instead of 240, I believe that comes out to 192. And in addition to at least 2 counselors for each cabin, we have other counselors who do things like teach swimming lessons. They're lifeguards. They have canoeing, and they do all arts and crafts, and they teach the kids all sorts of things. There's a beautiful swimming pool at the camp with a water slide that all the kids love. And they also swim in Lake Hartwell and canoe and kayak and sail. And but there are 2 options. The reason they built the pool in the first place was that some years Lake Hartwell is kind of low and it's kind of mucky and not as good as others. But lately, I think they've been using the lake a lot. And for parents who are worried about, oh, what's going to happen to the child's hearing aids or cochlear implants, they do have special boxes for them. And they say that some kids are allowed to wear their hearing aids in the pool if that's, all right with the parents. I believe some things are now waterproof. But they say nobody wears any kind of hearing device when they're in Lake Hartwell, because if you lose it in Lake Hartwell, it's gone. And rather than risk that, they just don't wear them. In addition to the swimming and the sailing and the other water sports, we've got hiking, archery, a high ropes adventure course, which is exciting. And although we have beautiful cabins, every group every summer camps out one night in the woods, which the kids love. And they have special places they go to where they can build a campfire and roast marshmallows and do all that good stuff. And they also do arts and crafts. And last year, the girls in the younger girls' cabins were making a lot of friendship bracelets. So there's a lot going on. The camp is fully accredited by the American Camping Association. As I said, it's A-rated. It's really nice. The food is very good. The kids talk about how good the food is, and it's healthy food, kid-friendly but healthy. And another thing that I should mention is that it's free. It's free to the parents of the campers. The Sertoma Clubs of South Carolina pay for the campers. And the price of that has gone up over the years, but we're still able to, my club sends 10. There's some clubs in the upstate who have gotten businessmen to sponsor campers, and they'll send, one club sends 30. That's a lot of campers, and it's a lot of money. And also, you don't have to transport your child to camp unless you really want to. The Sertoma clubs provide transportation. Here in the Midlands, 5 clubs have gotten together, and we work with the Boys and Girls Club to use their bus. So we use their licensed bus driver and their bus, and we pay for the gas and we pay the driver, and it's really wonderful. And because we can take all the kids on the bus, the kids have a great time, and it's but some parents, especially on the way, on the way to camp, some parents like to drive their children, especially if it's their first time at camp, and also it gives the parents an opportunity to see the camp. But the camp's not that close either. It's 2.5 hours away. So I think that's basically what I wanted to mention, except that
Perfect.
there's
Okay, so we appreciate Karen Root for talking about the camp, and I'll go back to the screen so you could see the link to the Camp Sertoma site. And I am going to share my screen again with the PowerPoint. So perfect. Another residential camp that we have in the upstate is offered through the School for the Deaf and the Blind. And they're calling it Spy Camp this year. And it is June 2nd through the 7th, 2025. And they do fun stuff, water activities, career exploration. And that information and the date is there for you. Alyssa, did you want to chime in about School for the Deaf and Blind?
I think it was really nice. I like the experience and how we do a little swimming and all that. One time I forgot the bathing suits out of swimming shorts and shirt. But it was a little fun experience and all that. We get to do little games and chill with friends and communicate through ASL and talking or English. And yeah, it's just like the experience and how they do new things and teach you a lot. So yeah.
So we do have some great in-state residential programs. And then there's some out-of-state program camps as well. So I wanted to just give you some websites that you can look up for your reference. The National Deaf Center provides information on summer programs, and they also had nice videos. And I just spotlight one up there about diversity and role models. Again, with Hands and Voices, we're all about family modeling. We want our deaf adults to attend, and just everyone for different walks of life with journeys. And that's really what our camps do. They get children together from all walks of life and have those experiences. The Clerk Center is also another place that has camp information for our deaf and hard of hearing kiddos. They actually have a map and you can click on the camps. The other tidbit that I would give you is to maybe consider where you have family located if they're outside of the state. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and so they have Gallaudet there. and Alyssa will be attending camp there this summer as well. So sometimes maybe consider places you have family and that you visit. And so with it being residential, maybe the whole family can travel and have a vacation, and you're there with your kiddo, even though they may be at camp, that they're local. So you don't have to be limited to South Carolina depending on your summer plans. And then very special camps is another camp option, and it's not just for deaf and hard of hearing, but it's for children of other disabilities as well. And so it's a nice link, and you can click down on the all program types, but they have a vast database of over 150 camps. So it's definitely something out there with camps. And I'll spotlight Camp Cheerio too, that's not on here, but that's in North Carolina. And they have a great camp, and they use cute speech there. And I know a lot of our families are exploring that option as well. So you have in-state and out-of-state options. Some other out-of-state options is NRSC with the Regional STEM Center, with RIT and Alabama Institute of the Deaf, and they do a collaboration, and they offer programs in Alabama and Florida. And this is actually a 3-week summer camp program that's also a free residential camp. And I'm spotlighting some of these because I know other family members who have gone to these camps. So if you're considering any and want to speak directly to somebody who's had the experience, we'll be able to get you connected with that. This is also in the middle RIT, and the link there for their outreach program. But they do summer camps. Alyssa will be going to Advanced Tech Careers this summer in Rochester, New York. But they offer different camp exposures, etc. And then if you want to get involved throughout the year, they have different ways you could do it with writing contests and competitions. They have different reading programs that you can get into and spotlight speakers. So even if you don't do the camp, look into these resources because it's great information on their site. As well as Gallaudet University, they offer several programs. Alyssa will be exploring the Gen Cyber Camp this summer, and they will do activities, and she's also excited that they said they'll go to Six Flags Amusement Park. So you get the academics, you can get the extracurricular sports. Camps vary. They vary from free to paid. RIT and Gallaudet have some free options. They have some paid options, but you have scholarships. And there are places that also help support scholarships like Voc Rehab as well, if maybe you needed support with transportation, depending on the age of your child. So that was information about our summer camp. I did want to also mention our archive from 2 years ago that still has some other deaf and hard of hearing camps featured, but basically just so you can get a basic view of the camp programs that we have in the state as well as out of the state with camp programs. So again, thank you so much to our interpreter. Thank you, Camille Belton, with sharing information on Camp Wonder Hands. And as a mom who...
Thank you.
As a mom who's had a child to go to the different camps and things, I definitely see growth in our children and the exposure with different students and different adults, and it's definitely a positive experience. So we encourage you to explore, reach out if you want to talk to other parents and folks who have gone to the program. But thank you again, and we hope to see you on the next topic Tuesday.